Hello and welcome back to the Cricket Draft Show. My name is Dan Jadzevics. I'm joined by Dan Weston, and we have got so much to talk about on today's episode. We've got game week 12 of the County Championship. We've got the One Day Cup, which starts in just a couple of days' time. And then, you better stick to the end because we will announce the winners for the Women's T20 Blast competition. If you're new here, subscribe to the channel, drop us a like on the video, comment, let us know how you're getting on this summer with the Cricket Draft. And Dan, how are you? How was game week 12 in the championship?
Mixed bag for me, mixed bag, Dan. So I had a bit of a problem in that the teams were announced super late on game day morning, and there was a bit of rain around, teams delayed, and I couldn't. At 1 minute 2, I realised Harmer wasn't playing, and I couldn't get him out of my team in time. Yeah, really gutted about that. So, was it 8.8 million down the drain? So, I managed to get 1,497 points, which is a few hundred points above the game week average still. But yeah, it was all a bit of a mess really for me. And then I tried to make Critchley captain at the last minute, which would have got me another couple of hundred points as it happened as well. So, yeah, really tough one to take actually. But that's the game, right?
That's the game. That's the game. I'd take a mixed bag over terrible. I finished this week, I'll just look at the number. I finished 5,420th this week in the game week. There genuinely can't be many players beneath me there in the entirety of the game. I had 936 points, and I got Simon Harmer as well, as I think many people did. Just a quick one. Note to Neon Cricket. Thank you to Neon Cricket for sponsoring this episode of the Cricket Draft Show. If you want to stand out from the crowd, then jump on their website. The link can be found in the description of this video. And check out their amazing bat range and loads of other great gear. Yeah, it was a tough week, game week 12, for everybody concerned. As you said, there were a couple of games that started late due to rain, due to wet outfields. There was a lot of weather impacting the games. Gloucestershire and Middlesex, I mean, they barely even played cricket, did they, down at Cheltenham through the course of that game. The game I was commentating on, day 4 at Northamptonshire, that was pretty much washed out until 3:30 in the afternoon, which potentially might have impacted a potential result there for one of those two sides. And yeah, we gave you the big talk, didn't we, last week, Dan, about googlies and using double captains and 12th players if they were available. And in hindsight, probably shouldn't have listened to us.
Well, no, I think it's tough, isn't it, when there's weather around as well, and you want maximum bang for your buck, don't you? In terms of weather forecast, 4 days of good weather probably better than a couple of days of ropey weather for double captaincy or 12th man googlies. So I'd use mine anyway. So before this week, so yeah, it was a bit of an academic situation for me, but yeah, they absolutely got to pick your spots well, and yeah. Not sure that this week worked out to be a great time to use a googly unless you picked someone who had an outstanding week and got pretty fortunate.
Yeah, I mean, there were some points to be scored, and I think the leader of the week, Toby, picked up 2,600 points across the course of it. So fair play to Toby to manage to put that team together. Very important win for Glamorgan in Division 2 up at Old Trafford. Surrey win again, so looks like Surrey are on their way to lifting another county championship trophy. Leicestershire got an okay result down at Canterbury, but that was, of course, weather affected. There was no Simon Harmer, as we mentioned. There was no Johnny Bairstow either at Scarborough. Spinners did do quite well, though. Kishore did particularly well for Surrey. Chris Green picked up 6 wickets in the first innings at Old Trafford, and Mason Crane took a hatful as well, all making the dream team this week. With 5 batters in there, though, Dan, so it wasn't all doom and gloom for the batters amongst us. There was a lot of runs to be scored if you could get out there.
Well, as we spoke about last week, Dan, our batters seem to be struggling, but everyone else's seem to be doing quite well. But look, it's so interesting to see the spinners do well as well. I think Kishore is truly a magnificent player. Like I know that I've been beating the drum for years about him should be playing more in the IPL. He did last year this current year for the first time, and yeah, it looks different class. And Chris Green has obviously done really well for Lancs as well consistently, and looks a good option for those teams who want a spin bowler who can bat in their lineup.
Yeah, we've got 37 days now to wait until the next round of the county championship. So I think we could be looking for a new batch of overseas cricketers in 37 days' time. And depending on how they line up, how they're categorised, what they will bring to the side, will they go spinners, will they go seamers? There's a lot to kind of unpack in 37 days' time, isn't there, when the championship returns with a Duke's ball in hand. So that'll be a bit more exciting for a few people watching the county championship. Just some performances of note for the championship so far. And this is quite a telling thing, Dan. There are 5 batters who have gone past 1,000 runs this summer. One is Ben Compton, who is now the highest run scorer. Haseeb Hameed, Dom Sibley, Saif Zaid, and Adam Lyth. And I think from memory, it's probably only me who's had Saif Zaid in one of these cricket draft championship 11s this year. I don't think we've spent much time talking about Ben Compton, Haseeb Hameed, Dom Sibley, and Adam Lyth in our 11s.
No, I've not had them at all. But like I say, I haven't spent a lot of money on batters, to be honest with you, because I've been trying to predominantly spend my money on all rounders and bowlers who bat. So yeah, that's probably a bit of a self-fulfilling prophecy for me. But I have been trying to get Compton in my team for a little while, and I wish I had done. And yeah, I know him from my time at Kent, and he's someone who sells his wicket extremely dearly, and we've seen that again and again this season. And yeah, really, really, really good for him, taking advantage of the drop-in standard in Div 2 to go out and just consistently churn out those runs, and a double ton this week.
Now, these are the players that you have had a few of, although it didn't go particularly well when you double captured them. The leading wicket takers in the championship. Kyle Abbott is the only bowler to have taken 40 or more wickets. He's taken 41. With Jack Leach, George Hill, another member of your dream team or your 11 there, Lewis Rees and Tom Taylor in there as well, who we did speak about quite a bit at the start of the year, but it feels like Worcestershire and Tom Taylor just gone a bit under the radar. But Kyle Abbott, George Hill, you couldn't have asked for much more from those two, could you?
No, and I've got both of them in my team at the moment. So yeah, Hill's been an unbelievable signing over the course of the season in terms of price point and match contributions. Just been different class for me. So yeah, if you haven't already got on the George Hill bandwagon, I'd definitely recommend it. A friend of the show, of course, as well.
Of course. And I think as well, get him in 2025 because he could be a bit more expensive in 2026. And then in terms of wicket keepers, proud member of the wicket keeping union, so we better give them the flowers. John Simpson, Gareth Roderick are the 2 wicket keepers to have gone past or have got 40 or more dismissals this year. So another Worcestershire cricketer in that upper echelon. And John Simpson, the guy who's had the gloves in my cricket draft 11 throughout the course of the county championship. I don't necessarily think there's a bad option as a wicket keeper in the county championship, but John Simpson stepping up from Division 2 to Division 1, everybody knew how good he was and the potential that he had. He's not only taken 40 dismissals, but he's scored an absolute hatful of runs for Sussex down on the south coast as well. Value. Who has provided the best value, Dan? And there's some names here. There's some good names. Ben Kellaway, 4.8 million on the cricket draft, has averaged 391 points per million. Calvin Harrison spent that time on loan at Northamptonshire, 5.8 million, 329 points per million. And Saif Zaid, 6.3 million at 300 points per million. There's some good players there. And I suspect their price tags could be going up in 2026 as well.
Yeah, I'll be very surprised to see any of them under 7 million. A couple of your Northants mates there, Dan, that you've been investing in over the course of the season, being great value options as well.
Yeah, absolutely right. And differentials, Ben Compton again. He's only owned by 4.9% of DOC's, Director of Cricket. So I better kind of explain what that acronym is. 1,621 points across the course of the year. What a pick he would have been. Grant Stewart, another player at Kent, 2.8% owned, 1,599 points. Lewis Rees, 4.2% owned at Derbyshire, 1,498 points. And Matt Waite, another Worcestershire cricketer, 3% owned, 1,443 points. What is it, Dan? What's discouraging people from picking these guys?
Well, I don't really know so much about Compton because I think that he's obviously a really excellent option for teams. But I know Grant Stewart has missed a game week recently because of the World Cup qualifiers for Italy that he was playing in. So he missed a game week, I think 2 weeks ago maybe. And Lewis Rees has had injuries as well recently and missed I think good chunk, if not all, of the blast. So he's probably an under the radar pick, if you like. In terms, I think he had a fitness test before the game week after the blast. So yeah, you can understand why they've flown under the radar a bit. Matt Waite is someone that we've spoken about on the show previously. Maybe a bit of a feast or famine player, but I think enough feasts outweigh the famines for sure.
They certainly have this year. How about our battle, Dan? There's a bit of cricket to go. It's not over yet.
Yeah.
I'm currently sat on 19,496 points, and you've gained some grounds. 18,197. So it's about a 1,300 point gap between the two of us. With what have we got? 13, 14, 3 game weeks left. I think that's still on, Dan. Don't you?
No, you've got that sewn up. It would take it would take a collapse of epic proportions for you to lose this one now, Dan. 500 points a week, roughly, I've got to make up for you. With no Googlies left to play. So
you did it last week.
Well, yeah, but I've got to do it consistently, and I'm not sure. I'm not sure. I'm not sure I need snookers yet, but and I'm not ready to concede. But I think you can start putting your feet up on the deck chair somewhere.
Fair enough. I tell you what, I'll offer you a handshake at 5:20 in the afternoon, and you can turn it down for your personal milestones. How about the best players then in the county championship in reverse order? The top 10. Some favourite names here amongst plenty of people, and some new faces as well that might surprise a couple. But 10 through to 6: Ryan Higgins, Ian Holland, Ben Kellaway, Save, Ray and Ahmed. They're the 10 through 6th place. Then we go into Ed Barnard, who is an absolute stalwart, isn't he, of the county championship. Calvin Harrison, an anomaly, I think. I don't necessarily think if he'd have stayed at Nottinghamshire throughout the entirety of the summer, in fact, I could say with some certainty that he would not be sat in the top 5, but he's got 1,900 points this year, and he did play for Notts in the last round, so maybe they have got an eye on him going forward. John Simpson, George Hill, and Kyle Abbott, the 3 that we've just spoken about. Kyle Abbott, could it be a bit of a race to 2,000 points? He only needs 15 points to get through that 2,000 point mark for Kyle Abbott.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he'll get there. He'll get there pretty quickly. Next game week, very, very likely. It's just whether one of the players behind him, a Hill, for example, gets up there quicker than him, in whether their teams battle bowl first in the next game week. But some really impressive performances there. And it really goes to show, I think, the value of all-rounders as well, because we've got 7 all-rounders in this top 10, and a couple of them, I'm not even sure they've had what I would call stellar seasons. And I look at someone like Ryan Higgins, for example, owned by 28% of players, 8.4 million in the top 10. And I've had him in my team pretty much throughout the whole season, but I never really thought of him as like an outstanding player in any game week. But he just keeps picking up the points, 150 odd per game week so far. Easy when you've got high match involvement, and I think that's a recurring theme that we've talked about over the show for many months.
Yeah, of course, and regardless of the format as well, match involvement is absolutely crucial. Moving on to the One Day Cup, and I think match involvement could be a big talking point here as well, but it all starts on Tuesday. Cricket comes thick and fast, doesn't it, for the cricket draft and for you as players. So that game is now set up. It is available, and if you haven't done so, go over there and set your teams up, build your leagues, invite your friends, challenge your teammates, whatever that might be. I better set a league up for us as well, Dan, hadn't I? And kind of see how we get on at the end of that competition. As I say, it starts on Tuesday. Now, there are a few different things that you might just need to be aware of when building this team, and it's a slightly different format from the cricket draft for this competition. They're going to be slightly shorter game weeks. Now, that's going to be a part of the fact they're trying to get as many teams playing once in the game week. And obviously, squads are going to change. They're going to be so flexible through this competition that trying to make sure that those players named in squads then become available for your teams is part of it. So there's going to be a lot more information available to you. You might just have to be a little bit quicker off the mark in order to keep on top of this One Day Cup competition and the teams. And because of the flexible nature of the squads in the competition, there are going to be a couple more transfers for you as well in the week. So keep that in mind when it comes to building your 11s and putting them out for each of the week. And make sure you're following the Cricket Draft across all the social media platforms to have a look at those squads and new signings and injury news and everything else that you might need to know. But there's a few interesting things happening, Dan, and doesn't start anywhere other than down on the south coast at the Utility Bowl that Tilak Varma has confirmed availability for the first 3 games of the One Day Cup.
Well, if you don't mind having a short-term option in your team, I think he's about as close to a cheat code in this tournament as you could possibly wish to have. So, he looks a very good option for Hampshire.
He certainly does. I think the other thing as well is the thing that's going to be quite tricky, and it's not necessarily the case for all the counties, but you're kind of trying to find that county that's taking the competition as seriously as possible, aren't you? Full strength 11s. There are a few other counties that will be looking for kind of developmental options and trialing players that may have been in and around that second 11 team, taking that step forward. So that I think is going to be a bit of a challenge. Some high percentage selection options: Grant Stewart, Zach Chappell, Simon Harmer, potentially all very, very popular picks. I don't know whether any of those 3, Dan, have tickled your fancy. We're going to get to our 11s, but any of those 3 interesting you?
Possibly, but not at this stage, I don't think. Obviously, with the price point for Harmer and the availability issues for potentially for Grant and Zach Chappell. And it's interesting you mentioned about the mentality of the counties in this One Day Cup, because for me, I think to myself, right, there's 3 trophies over the season, and this is one of them, and only a maximum of 3 teams can win a trophy. Why wouldn't you give it your best shot for this next month to win a tournament and to win a trophy that's going to benefit the club immensely? I know, for example, when Leicestershire won, I think it was in 2023. It was a fantastic moment for the club, and I don't see why anyone wouldn't take this seriously. And I would also say to people who are looking at planning their squads that some of the counties' head coaches will be away as assistant coaches with the 100. So maybe what you might want to do is to look at who's taking over for this month. And a lot of the time, there might be second 11 coaches. And actually, which players have performed really well in the second 11 for those coaches might be the ones who get the nod in terms of game time. So, yeah, a bit of outside the box thinking, and it's going to be interesting to see these squads, as you say, for the first week. And looking forward to it.
It's a deep dive of information. How about your team, Dan? Who have you picked? We'll caveat it. We have to caveat it with the sense that these squads haven't been announced yet. But what is your initial 15?
Okay, so look, a lot of this was based on the research that I did for the One Day Cup data analysis document that we've been sending out to anyone who's bought us a coffee over the last couple of weeks. And there's a lot of data in there and a lot of insight that hopefully can help people construct their squad. So I've built a squad based on the insight into that, which primarily focuses on performances last season and probably swerves the players who have not been picked in the 100 this year, who didn't play in the One Day Cup last year. But let's go for this. And I will make changes because a couple of these guys don't even have games in the first game week. So there will be changes. But I wanted to try and give a flavour of my thought process as to why I've picked these type of players. So my batters, I've gone for Rob Yates, Jack Leaning and Tom Wesley. The reason why is very, very simple. They all bowl a lot. And they're all likely to bowl a lot. So, for example, Tom Wesley last year was the batter who bowled more overs than anybody else in the whole tournament in terms of the categorised batters. Jack Leaning was also in the top 10, and so was Rob Yates. So I'm really trying to look at this diversification of point scoring and extra match involvement for those batters. So I've picked 3 batters who might well be called on with the ball to start with. And then I've gone for very, very high match involvement all rounders with Ed Barnard, unsurprisingly, the One Day. Yeah, well, that's the problem because actually, while you're looking for differentials, you don't want Ed Barnard to score a load of points for everybody else and then you not have him. So you kind of have to say, well, if you can't beat him, join him. And his match involvement last season compared to all other players was off the charts. About 300 balls match involvement more than even Seth Sabin, third place for match involvement. So he's going to bowl his quota of 10 overs more often than not. And bat in the top 6 and good fielder as well, getting fielding points. You can't ask for more than that. And then I picked up Lewis Goldsworthy, who was second on the match involvement chart last year as well. So, that looks another good option. And then another player who's high up in match involvement last year, but has really kicked on actually in the Blast. I was quite surprised he didn't get a wild card somewhere. Actually, was Dan Douthwaite. So again, a player who's now I think probably getting a more clearly defined role with the ball in terms of middle overs. And someone who's shown devastating hitting prowess with the bat, and again probably going to bat in that sort of number 6-ish role for Glamorgan, and should bowl a healthy amount of balls as well. So that's my third all rounder, and then just because I don't want to change the theme, we're going to go with Tom Taylor, who's my fourth one, and actually he had the highest match involvement per match played out of any player in the One Day Cup last year. So again, this is a recurring theme, and actually, Douthwaite, Goldsworthy, Taylor, all around just around that 7 million-ish mark. I think that's actually really good value considering how much they're in the game. Wicket keeper, I went for the extremely talented James Rew. He hasn't played a lot of white ball cricket, but I know that he's easily good enough to make a massive statement in this tournament. Obviously, he's been a stalwart of my red ball team as well, and I did think, I think he missed some games early on because he had some national team commitments in terms of, I think it was A team or Lions stuff for England, but he missed out on the Blast, and I still think he could be a really good T20 player as well. But so James Rew is my keeper, and then bowlers wise, again I've gone for some bowlers who have been able to contribute with the bat a little bit. So last year, Kyle Abbott faced over 100 balls with the bat, and obviously we know how good he is as a bowler. So he's in. He's my most expensive bowler, and the same with Tim van der Hoogten as well. He's another player whose batting has really kicked on, and I'd expect him to bat 7 or 8 for Glamorgan probably, and categorised as a bowler. So that's really quite pleasant. And then the third one is an all-rounder as well. I mean, this guy's batted in the middle order in domestic cricket in New Zealand. I hope he's available because I think he's an absolute steal at 6.9 million. Is Zach Folks at Durham? I think he's a really high-class operator and should take plenty of wickets and produce some good knocks with the bat as well. So you can see here that I've gone for 3 bowlers who bat, 3 batters who bowl, and a load of all-rounders. So, probably not that unexpected. On the bench, I've gone for Dom Kelly, who's created as a bowler for Hampshire, despite the fact that he faced around 200 balls with the bat last year in the comp. And I've gone for 2 very young pace bowlers at Middlesex who have high potential, Seb Morgan and Navya Sharma, who's actually played a bit in the Blast recently as well. And then I've gone for a batter who bowls, but he's categorised as batter, in really impressive breakthrough so far in first team cricket over the last couple of months is Ekhansh Singh of Kent, who I think will actually play quite a lot as well. So I think I've got good chances of game time from the bench as well, and I eked out all of my budget apart from 0.1 million for that.
It sounds like a good team. It does sound like a good team, and I'm glad you went through and you provided all of the rationale and thinking behind it, because I'm probably not going to be able to do the same with mine, or at least not to that level. But I've lined up as follows. I have gone for Tilak Varma at the top. He was the first name on the team sheet. I thought, well, I'm going to get him in, and I'm going to have him for 3 weeks and see what happens, and I'll just build the rest of the team around them. So the other batters I've got as well, 2 top order batters, one at Durham, one at Sussex. I've gone for Emilio Gay, who I think has been in good form. He's a bit feast and famine in the Championship, but I think he will go well, I think, in the One Day Cup. Plus, stands the chance of batting a long time at the top of the order. And Tom Hames as well, down at Sussex. I mean, he's so experienced now. He knows exactly how this white ball works and can get through those opening spells and cash in once everything gets gets into those middle overs and can just rotate the strike around. So they're my 3 batters. Across the middle, I've gone 2 Somerset players, a Northants player, and a Glamorgan player. You'll be pleased to know that I agree with you with complete agreement with Lewis Goldsworthy and Dan Douthwaite. Both, I just look at them and I think high match involvement. I think Dan Douthwaite, he kind of must be on the periphery of, like you said, a wild card, but there's an injury in the hundreds. He's been hooked from Glamorgan type thing. I think he's that close to being taken away. So keep an eye on there. I've also gone for Ben Green, who will be captain of Somerset this year. He will bat in the middle orders. He will bowl plenty of overs. And finally, as well, you said Dan Douthwaite has really kicked on this year, and I've had the pleasure of just watching him go and score another 150 at Northamptonshire. He scored 150 the week before at Kent. He's been batting 3 in the Blast. He's been bowling first change. Is that Justin Broad? He is a phenomenal fielder. He will bowl plenty of overs, and I see him batting possibly even in the top 6, depending on where Northamptonshire decide to go with this lineup in the One Day Cup. So he's someone that I'm very excited for. I've given the gloves to Joe Cracknell. I'm very, very flexible with regards to that. I know he's a fantastic white ball cricketer. He might bat higher than what a normal wicketkeeper would do in the One Day Cup. He may well open as a bit of a pinch hitter. I don't know. We'll have to see what happens with these squads. And then my 3 bowlers, absolute dynamite with the new ball. Jack White at Yorkshire, who has been in ridiculous form in the Championship since moving. Henry Crocombe and Ned Leonard as well. Then my bench, George Thomas down at Sussex, bit of an all-round option. Suspect he'll probably play in this competition. Asa Tribe, who has been in good touch for Glamorgan at the top of the order. Mitch Killeen up at Durham. And then I had so much cash left over that I've just stuck Sol Budinger on the bench. And I feel a bit upset the fact that I haven't got him in my starting 11, to be quite frank with you, Dan.
Ridiculous. You're going to have to play that 12th man googly very quickly with Sol on your bench.
Genuinely, yeah.
Yeah, it's interesting. You've gone for Tillack, and I think he could contribute overs as well with the ball. So I wouldn't be surprised at all to get good bowling output from him too. So yeah, definitely a really, really good pick up there. I wish I could afford him.
It's an expensive pick, but hey, it's my pick over Ed Barnard, isn't it, for 3 weeks? So we'll see if that's a different maker. We don't know. But you mentioned earlier, about the buy us a coffee. There is a link to this in the description. Essentially, it's a case of supporting the Cricket Draft, make the games that they're making. Also, this content, whether that's on YouTube, whether it's social media, whatever that might be, it's just all kind of helps make everybody's life a bit easier and to help you enjoy the game that you enjoy so much. So there's a link in the description. You can buy the team a coffee and you will get Dan Weston's aforementioned data and insights document for the One Day Cup. So if you're struggling, well, like it sounds like you and I are to a point with this One Day Cup. It sounds like for the price of an Americano, you can get yourself a nice little document there and put together a really, really good team for the One Day Cup and hopefully beat your mates. Finally, and thank you for sticking with us through this. It's the Women's T20 Blast. We had finals day the other weekend. It was won by Surrey, so congratulations to them at the Oval. How did your team went quite well, didn't they, Dan, through the course of the competition?
Yes, it did, but disaster in the last week because that caused me to drop about 100 points in the overall rankings. It didn't affect our mini league too much, but I'm kicking myself. I'm absolutely kicking myself because I forgot that there was finals day, and I should have known this because I was fully aware that Warwickshire in the final and the playing in finals day, and I'd actually spoken to a couple of guys there about it, and really, really disappointed with forgetting that. So I only had 5 players in the team, and one of them, Heather Graham, got minus points. So that was really, really, really strong of me as well. So yeah, I've only got myself to blame there, and I'm going to have a chat with the powers that be at the Cricket Draft and get them to send notifications out 15 minutes before the start of the game week. Yeah.
Okay. Dan Weston's going to start using his influence here to get changes made to the app. How about this for a team of the tournament, though, Dan? Laura Harris, Danny Wyatt, and Dav Perrin at the top with the bat, 975, 844, 737 points. Your all-rounders, Catherine Bryce, Grace Harris, Amanda Jade Wellington, and Millie Taylor, who we've spoken a lot about. Wicketkeeper of Nat Wraith at the Birmingham Bears, and then 3 bowlers, Esme McGregor, Eva Gray, and Izzy Wong as well. Esme McGregor, 968 points, was just taking wickets for fun, wasn't she, in that competition? I suspect you had quite a few of those across the course of the summer.
Yeah, I had Perrin most of the comp. I had Bryce and Wellington throughout, and I had. Oh, that was about it. I didn't really have anyone else, but really interesting to see that Bears had 5 players in that 11, and obviously lost in the final. Bryce was a really good pickup for me in terms of that consistent match involvement, but also the fact that Blaze had 2 games in every single game week, and so therefore you never really had to chop or change a Blaze player out because they were consistently having reasonable match involvement every game week. So just another example really of how planning for a tournament can actually benefit you in terms of consistent game weeks.
Absolutely right. Would Catherine Bryce be your standout player for the competition, Dan, or have you got another one?
No, I think Catherine Bryce certainly out of the renowned players was the standout player. But I do want to definitely give a hat tip to Millie Taylor and Esme McGregor as well. 2 players who haven't played 100 previously and who have come in and taken to the blasts superbly. And I think they ended up as the 2 leading wicket takers in the comp. So fair play to both of those players.
Absolutely. And first blood goes to you as well for the 2024 season. You've beaten me comprehensively. To say I finished second, I think would be polite and kind to my performance in this competition. It was a 2-team league, and I think if I'd have finished 33rd in it, I think I probably would have been quite accurate. But congratulations to you, Dan. You've got the first trophy in the cabinet this year. There is still 3 to go. We've got the men's blast with finals day coming up. We've got the One Day Cup we've just been speaking about, and we've got 3 weeks of the championship left to go. So tick in the right box for you. Congratulations. It's always worth listening to the expert on this show, isn't it?
Not sure about that, Dan. If they listen to you in the championship, they'll be well ahead right now.
And then finally, before we go, so thank you for sticking with us through the course of this. Congratulations to Tom Lee, who won the competition on the cricket draft with 12,224 points with their team called the Nerdlers, which I don't know whether that's particularly fitting for the T20 cricket, but I'll buy it. Second place was Jack Dyer with Dyer's Donkeys, 12,045 points. And then FJW11 with Finn Watkinson in third place with 11,795. So congratulations to the 3 of you. Congratulations to Tom for winning that entire competition. And thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. Dan, thank you for your time as always. And hey, good luck with the One Day Cup squad. I think it's going to be... It's going to be tough keeping an eye on all of that, but hey, there's some reward to be, some bragging rights amongst your mates.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm going to be at the 100, so I'm going to have to try and plan this team selection out very, very in a very, very organised way. And you're going to be abroad, Dan, so you've got time zones to contend with as well. So it's going to be fun for us.
I'll either be having to set alarms at 2 a.m. in the morning, or I'll have to be setting them or figuring the team out when I get back from whatever adventures I've been up to in the evening. So we'll
do them at the bar at 2 a.m.
Exactly. Exactly. Yeah, we'll see what happens. But Dan, thank you for joining us. Thank you for listening, and we'll see you very soon for another episode on the Cricket Draft.